Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be cooking a recipe from 21 New Ways to Serve Hamburger. This video is a collaboration with Chastity over at Cookin' with Bobby Joe. Chastity so generously sent me this cookbook. She had an extra copy, asked me if I wanted it, and of course I wanted this. This is a Hunt's cookbook that was produced somewhere in the late 50s through the early 60s. It was probably available all throughout that time. I've seen lots of images of magazine ads that have some of the recipes that are in this book. What makes this even more special is that my dad actually used to work at Hunt's back in the day before it became Conagra. So I'm really excited to have this one in my collection. As the title implies, this cookbook has 21 hamburger recipes in it. So which one am I gonna make? Today I am going to be preparing Huntburgers. So Chastity told me that her grandmother used to make this recipe and she absolutely loved it growing up. When her grandma made it, it turned out perfectly. It wasn't soggy. This recipe is basically like a mini meatloaf inside of a hamburger bun. Hopefully I can do this recipe justice and make it just as delicious as Chastity's grandma did. So I'm gonna be cutting this recipe in half because it makes way more than I actually need. We start with a couple of unsliced hamburger buns. I'm supposed to hollow out the centers of these and leave kind of like a half-inch border on them. I'm supposed to save all of the bread that I pull out because it's gonna go inside the hamburger part. So yeah, kind of like a meatloaf. So it says crumble up the bread, pull a little bit more out of the sides. I don't wanna go all the way through so that the juices from the meat don't kind of soak all the way through. It's like a tiny bread bowl. That one went a little bit farther than I wanted. We'll patch her up. Nobody needs to know. That is what we have so far. So next I'm just mixing this bread with the rest of the ingredients, and I'm gonna use my very clean hands. So I have half a pound of ground chuck. So I'm gonna just kind of crumble that in there. My salt, so that's just regular table salt. I'm supposed to use some finely chopped onion. I'm actually gonna use some dehydrated onion. To wash my hands, I've got a little bit of black pepper. This is an 8-ounce can of Hunt's tomato sauce. I'm gonna put 6 ounces in this mixture and then save a couple of ounces to spoon over the top later. So I'm gonna eyeball it. All right, so I'm just gonna go in with my clean hands. I did just wash them again and mix this up. It does smell really good. There's some actual seasoning in this recipe. I know I often complain about the lack of seasoning, so hopefully this is a little bit better. There's also a recipe for porcupine meatballs in this book, which I've made before. It's actually one of my highest performing videos. I will link that in the description down below because that's a really good recipe too. This is a pretty loose mixture. Did you hear that? So there is our meat mixture. Technically, I was supposed to use 3 buns. I'm really trying not to make more than I absolutely need. This is generous though. With the addition of that bread and stuff, like this made it real hefty patty. These are just gonna be a little tall, that's all. Oh yeah, I made this one a little bit more generous, so we're just gonna take some off. Oh, it smells really good. Heck yeah. Wash those hands again. Here's what we have. Here's what the finished product is gonna look like. So I'm gonna go ahead and bake these for 25 minutes in a 375-degree oven. Look at these. They look pretty good, I would say. They smelled amazing while they were baking. Before I taste them, the cover of this cookbook actually features this recipe. So how did I do? What do we think? Mine are a little bit taller. I think that's okay though. One recommendation, I would definitely temp these burgers before you take them out of the oven and cut into them. I ended up having to add about 15 minutes to the cook time, and I went for about like a medium well, which means 150 degrees, 155 degrees, right around there. And they're perfect now. The original recipe recommended 25 minutes at 375. I just don't think that's quite enough. Everybody's oven varies. Just take their temperature before you decide to eat them. And now I am ready to eat them. Super excited to give these a taste. Hopefully they're just as good as the ones that Chastity's grandmother used to make. I guess you just cut them. I wouldn't. Ooh, it's very crispy. I don't really know how to go about this other than cutting them, so we're gonna do that. I got a little bit of everything. That might be too big of a bite. It looks really hot. That's pretty dang good. Seasoning is spot on. I would not add anything else. Surprising coming from me, but it's true. The outside of the bun is definitely crispy. There's a little bit of like sogginess going on, sort of like more toward the meat, but the bottom, the sides, that is all crispy. I'm very surprised. I was really worried that this was gonna be just like a big soggy mess. These turned out excellent. It's kind of like a meatloaf, like an individual meatloaf with a nice crusty roll. I personally would recommend using unsliced buns if you can find them. I think that really helped here. I'm afraid with like a sliced bun that some of the juices and stuff would like seep out of the sides. This ended up perfect. I really, really enjoy these. Chastity, I can see why you like these. They are very tasty. I think if you wanted to, you could even customize the seasoning a little bit, maybe make like taco burgers, add some taco seasoning, but gosh, they really are perfect as is in my opinion. A big thank you to Chastity for sending me this book and for collaborating with me on this video. Be sure to check out her channel to find out which recipe she made. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your support. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on the red button below. This really, really helps my channel grow, and it gives more people the opportunity to watch my videos. Thanks again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.